How are you, mate?
I'm all
How
good.
are you feeling?
I'm all good. Yeah, quite relaxed, to be fair.
Everybody seems to be quite relaxed at the minute. Is the calm approach working?
Yeah, I think so. I think personally I was probably a bit more nervous for the semi-final, but this week it's very relaxed. It's a bit strange really, but it's almost calm focused. We're really focused and concentrated. It's a good to be part of.
I think Josh here made a point that the celebrations after the last playoff maybe tipped the edge and just lost a little bit of edge going into that game. Was that conscious among the players?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's good to celebrate a little bit because you've got to be recognised. What you have achieved and getting to a playoff final is not easy. It's one of the most difficult things, to be honest. Getting through them semi-finals, especially away at Bradford, not an easy place to go. The lads enjoyed it, but as I say, we had a couple of days off and we were back to work on Sunday, and it's been a real good focus within the group.
You must have enjoyed those. I mean, it looked like you enjoyed those two semi-finals. That was two of your strongest performances of the season.
Yeah, really. I knew I was coming up, against a decent player in Newfield. I think I seen online he picked himself for EFL fantasy. So I got sent that in the morning of the game, and it helped me a little bit. But yeah, I think when one or two of the lads start the game, kind of with that intensity, it kind of helps pick up the other lads, and that's kind of what I wanted to do: get on the front foot, get the fans up, get the other lads around me up for it, and hopefully it paid off, and it did.
I always say you can kind of read the way the game's going by your body language, because you carry it. If you're looking stressed, then obviously things aren't going great. Yeah. But if you're in that mood, and you're in that mood over the two legs, you know things are going quite well for Bolton. Yeah,
and that's how we're trying to approach the game Sunday. But obviously, we're going to suffer at times. It's not going to go our way all of the time, and that's where the experienced players have got to kind of step up and gain control of the group and settle them down and get back to work.
Been here 5 years now. Must feel like longer sometimes. But how much would it mean to you to get into that championship?
Yeah, it'd mean everything. I think when I first came here 5 years ago, that was the message from the gaffer at the time, was we've got to get this club back to the championship, and we've been close on a couple of occasions, but we've not quite got there, so hopefully this is the year.
Which is the one that hurt you more, really, because it's one thing going out in the semi-final at Barnsley, which was one thing, but not being able to do anything about it at Wembley when you were sat there watching them against Oxford, it must have hurt even more.
Yeah, it was. Both were tough for different occasions. The Barnsley one, I think, they were a very solid team that year, very tough to play against, very tough to score against. And I remember going 1-0 down, and it was like they're just going to sit back and kind of absorb all our pressure now. So that game kind of fizzled out. So that one was tough to take. And then obviously the game where I sat out was even harder because you're helpless. You can't really do anything. You can't say anything. You can't be on the pitch to affect anything. So that one's tough for different reasons.
This one, can you be excited? You're allowed to let that creep in as a footballer?
Yeah, I think any opportunity to play at Wembley in a final gets you excited a little bit. Personally, I can't wait for the whistle to go and start the game. So, but as I say, we've had a focus, we've contained our excitement, we've put a lid on things, and we've had a really driven group this week.
There's loads of different things about this game, though. In the stadium itself, the way you go about it, it's just not a normal game. I know you can approach it that way, but once you get there, it isn't.
Yeah, and the lads know that it's a big occasion, especially I think when we get down there tomorrow afternoon, we'll start feeling a bit more, maybe watch the championship final, see what it's about, and the ones who haven't been there before, maybe the nerves will start to creep in a little bit. But as I say, nerves are good, it shows you care. So as long as we put a lid on them and approach the game right, I think we've got a real good chance.
Well, one thing that fans definitely cannot accuse you of is not caring. And how would you describe your relationship with them? Because they were absolutely singing your name on the two playoff games, because they appreciated every ounce of effort you were putting in. Would you like to give back to that?
Yeah, definitely. It's always nice hearing the fans sing your name, especially for what I've given over the 5 years. I think it was nice that I got showed that appreciation, and obviously everything we do is for the fans and the town as a whole, because it's had a difficult few years, and we're the ones now trying to get them back to where they should be.
And you managed to do that, and all of a sudden your name is there in the history books, and people look at your name as being one of the guys that got them back to where they feel they belong. Yeah,
and that would be perfect. As I say, I've come here 5 years ago with job of getting his club back in the Championship, and they've been there close a few times, and hopefully this is the year now.
If you'd have been able to travel back in time and say how this would have mapped out for you 5 years ago, would you have still have picked Bolton and said, yeah, let's go for that one?
Yeah, I've had some real good times at Bolton, some success and some darker days, but I've loved every minute here, and I wouldn't have changed it for anything.